Alright, so a lot of you have been requesting to learn how to make some gravy. So we're going to do that today. Right now, you're going to start the pan. You're going to put on, I don't know, pretty warm. And the first step in making gravy is toasting your flour. So we're going to add our flour, probably about a quarter cup. It's going to be lots. We're making something, it's called a roux in French. It's a French word. In French, roux means roux. So we're going to be making a roux, and we're just going to let this heat up a little bit. The reason we're doing this is we want to cook off some of the proteins in the flour, so it doesn't react with your stomach in an unnecessary manner. All right, just going to warm that up, and we'll start to change color, and then we'll see what else is going on now. In order to make gravy, you're going to need some form of drippings or flavor. I mean, you can make a veggie gravy if you had veggie stock, but you're going to need something like a chicken or a roast to get that flavor from. So where your flour's toasting, just check our bird here, and it says it's at 100 and X amount of degrees. We'll take it out. Let it rest for a couple seconds here. A little bit. We're after all that juice down there, and while we're making the roux, we'll let this guy kind of just chill out. You just want to toss that around a bit. You don't want to burn it. You got to start all over again. So pay attention. If it's your first couple of times doing this, or if it's your 100th time, it's be like my 10,000th time, I'm sure. Then, if it ain't your 10,000th time, pay attention, because that pan's going to keep getting hotter and hotter. You have to keep coming back to it. Alright, don't touch the flour when it starts getting heated up. The flour's like glass. You're not going to know how hot it is until it starts getting really warm, or, you know, you're going to burn yourself. It's like sand, literally. Well, not literally, but it's a lot like sand, and that those little particles get very hot. So you want to be mindful of that. Very mindful of that. Anyways, let's get your bird out. Put the lid on it, and we'll just let it rest a couple, 2-3 minutes. We can tender our roux. I can't stress enough how vital it is to keep your flour moving in there. If you don't have saute skills, then don't be tossing the pan around. You make a mess. Yeah. I'll be back in about 30 seconds here. My stove is a little embarrassing. My helpers were a little negligent in cleaning it. So before I go any further, I'm just going to, oops, going to clean my stove a bit. So don't mind me. But this is real. This isn't Food Network. This is the real cooking. Some fat bastard with some restaurant in the middle of nowhere telling you something. We're just trying to make a roux today for our chicken dinner in the middle of summer. And make people a little happier, because chicken dinner is comfort food around here. Anyways, I'm just going to take that stuff off. Like that. Now, probably people be asking, I guess, do I have to use a fry pan? Yeah, you kind of do for this process. If you're making a roux, you kind of got to use it. You need a flat surface. You could do it in a saucepan or something like that, but you're really limiting how much area you got to work with there. So this is flatter. It's getting in contact with all the burner. Allows for a more cohesive, more uniform toasting. You can't tell probably, but it is changing color gradually, and that's what we're looking for here. If we don't do this, a couple of things. Your gravy's going to be awful white, which isn't bad for a chicken, but it should have a little color. It should have a little flavor. Yeah, they're going to get a little flavor out of this. A lot of people cheat, like everybody cheats at this step, and they just cook up the flour and the oil together until it's kind of a golden brown. And that, in my opinion, is a different flavor altogether, and I don't do that. So keep tossing that. Now, because it is chicken, you're going for a lot of savory kind of flavors. So I'm going to grab a nutmeg here. Yeah, nutmeg. Is that a good one? Sugar and spicy. Anything nice, little miss? I betcha. Grab a little nutmeg here and I'll find my grater. It's probably in the dishwasher. Yes. Oh, here it is right here. Use great grandma's grater. Somebody's great grandma. Oh, see that? See? Good thing I came back just in time. Did you see? It's definitely getting some color now, so we've got to be, time is of the essence. Alright, and I think we might have a bit sticking right up here. So just leave that right where it's at. Okay? Don't move the camera. Alright, so here we go. Now it is changing color. Now we gotta act a little faster. I use this old 1920s food grater. Not much. Just it's just enough to add background flavor. If it was emerald, I'd be calling it essence. It's just it's a little extra. Now you can see that color's changing there. So I can go ahead and turn the heat off at this point. Don't need any more heat. I'm going to try and get this a little golden brown. And at the same time, because all those little granules, those individual granules of the flour are warm, they're going to heat up that nutmeg a little bit and release all the essential oils in the nutmeg, which is going to help with the flavor. At the same time, our chicken is releasing all those tasty juices out, which is going to help later in the process of making gravy. Alright, so we're getting there. It's an aluminum pan, so you got to be careful with the heat. Just the heat goes right through it. Doesn't store it, so it's kind of... in the restaurant I use them because they're cheap. I mean, they're inexpensive. It's like it's a $20 pan and it's going to, last you years and years and years. But for the home gamer, if you don't know what you're doing, use cast iron or something that holds a little more heat. So every time I move this, it's getting a little darker and darker. And just for contrast, you can see the difference. That's flour, right? White flour. So we're getting darker. Pretty much where I want it, because it's still going to darken up a bit more when I add the oil. So I'm going to kill the heat. I'm going to let the pan cool off for a second. I'm going to address my bird over here for a minute, which is still hot. Let me grab an oven mitt. This guy over here for you. Pop that off. Inside, I got this bird here. We'll pull this guy out. And that's a little hot, a little bit. That'll warm up a cold day. So, just warming up this juice on this burner a bit. Don't have to do a lot of deglazing. I'm going to toss this pan again, just like that. All right. Let that cool just a bit more. And off camera, I'm going to grab a strainer, like here, all right, and I'm going to strain this this juice here into another container. I don't want any of the particles in my gravy. I just want just the juice. So I guess I can do it on camera for you. It's that kind of show. We're making roux. If you just tuned in, we're making roux. Roux, R-O-U-X. It's French for roux. And if you don't know what a roux is, then just change the channel. See you later. Drain off all that we can. Keep it on our pan. The good thing about aluminum is as soon as I remove it from the heat, it just stops, like it just cools down faster than say a stainless steel pan, especially cast iron. Cast iron holds the heat for a while. Now, so I don't want all those bits out of there, but there's some bits in there. So I'm just gonna strain that out. Alright. There's a little bit of stuff in there. So I'm just gonna hit it with Chinese cooking wine. Alright. A little bit. It doesn't matter what you use. This was right easy to grab. Shaoxing. Shaoxing! Rooster brand. Cooking wine. It's good stuff. Now we can turn our heat back on. We're going to need some reaction going on. Then let's move that around. Now I always tell people, if you're going to do this part here, use a wooden spoon. I don't know, it just tastes different to me if you use wood. Get that hot wine. The acids in the wine are going to react with the proteins in the meat that's left on the side of the pan. And that reaction causes them to release, and that process is called deglazing. So you get all the flavor of the pan essentially. There's a real long way of saying the flavor of the pan. Now we're going to just throw that into that wine over there. Get rid of all that. Now, this is the crucial part. Put that there. I'm going to move this into the sink. Fix that. Got our turkey bird here. I'm going to put that in the pan. Don't do that at home, it's a little warm. Alright, bird's good. We'll just cover him up. And carry on this way. Turkey stews. Chicken stew. Turkey, chicken, pork roast, don't matter. Got this coming to temperature there, that's good. Just want that to be pretty nice and warm. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to grab our flour, which is, it's definitely changed color. You can see the difference in color there. See that? We can move that out of here. Alright, at this point I like to add the pepper. Okay. Just like that. I'm going to add some poultry seasoning. A little bit. About a 1/4 teaspoon. Maybe a bit more. There you go. And some salt. A teaspoon. You can add it, you can't take it out. Okay, now, crucial part, hot pan. We're going to go in with 1/8 of a cup of oil. Maybe a little bit more of oil. And now you need a whisk. And if you don't have a whisk, you're taking a risk. Making your gravy. Good. Get yourself a whisk. Just moving around in there. And this shouldn't be a liquid at any time. Should just form into a liquid. You're looking for a paste. Now a lot of people are going to make this, and maybe you've been shown how to make it, and they turn it into a liquid. It's just easier for them. But you don't want that. You want to see how that is right there, kind of crumbly, like a crappy or a crumbly, like a kind of like a lousy pie crust. All right, a little too moist pie crust. That's what you're looking for. And then it's the same process again. You're gonna flatten all these little lumps out. We want to roast that, toast that a little bit, toast it up. Okay. You want to prevent stuff like that because that's going to burn. So we don't want that. So we're trying to work that out of there. We're almost done with this pan at this point. We can go in with the back of our fingers and just test, and yeah, it's going to burn you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're cooking at home and you're trying to find temperatures, if it's hot enough, the back of your finger is a lot more sensitive than the tips, okay? So, and the tip of your nose, a lot more sensitive than your lips, so to speak. Well, you shouldn't be using your nose to test temperatures on stuff too much. But not. So that's getting pretty dark pretty fast. And I'm going to turn that heat off momentarily. We'll grab our liquid. Okay, just got to keep this moving around. We don't want it to burn. Now, a couple things here, 2 trains of thought. I can take my time and introduce the liquid slowly together, but I've been making gravy a couple years now. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to add all that right now. Okay. The reason people add it slow is because they don't understand the process of what they're doing. They don't know what they're making. And emulsification here, so because I've done this fast, I don't have to worry too much. I'm going to take it off the heat in a second here, though. And I'll be right back. And let that. The reason I'm taking it off the heat is I don't want it to keep cooking. I'm just trying to evaporate the alcohol. I'm going to cool this pan off some hot water over here. Excuse me. And get some what do you call it? Water. You're going to need some water for your gravy. I don't know how much water you use and whatnot, that's entirely up to you. Find a measuring receptacle. Food is probably in my trusty dishwasher. Some of us around here like gravy a little more than others. Some of us call it heart stopper, but some of us call it life giver. So depending on your predisposition towards gravy, you're going to need more or less. You're going to need more around here. So I got about I don't know, 5 cups of water here. Your shit's going to get messy. Nothing I can do about it. This ain't Food Network now. I'm really cooking over here. Put that back on the heat. This is where you want to add a gradual amount of water, or you're going to get lumps. This is where you want to take your time. A little bit of water at a time. Okay, you want it to keep boiling. I have my stoves on like number 8, 7.5, 8. In between there. You can't walk away from this stuff at this point. You know, you're here, you're committed to it now for like 4 or 5 minutes. Alright. And we're going to wait for this to come back up to a boil. It's going to change its viscosity as it's doing that. You got to pay attention to the bottom and the corners of your pan, or it's going to burn. Okay? And once it burns, you're done. You're going to have to cook another bird, get all that juice back again. So, do you have something I'll show you as a fail-safe that you can use at the end, kind of like a secret weapon for on holiday times, because that's, you know, practice now making your gravies in the summer around not special occasions and whatnot, and then you have it down. But even a good chef knows have a backup plan. So in fact, when you're a chef, you have a couple of backup plans. And what I'll show you is kind of like a plan Z kind of thing, but I'll show you a couple of backup plans that we have here momentarily. So that's going to boil pretty quick. I can tell this by the sound. So right here I have some lamb broth and lamb roux, kind of like a lamb gravy, like a lamb demi almost, like a demi or something. I don't know what you call it, but basically it was just a bunch of lamb bones roasted, cooked down, some veggies, and turned into kind of like a demi. And I turned it into a thick gravy for the less capable amongst us in my household, so that I don't have to sit here and make gravy all the time. So handy at my house. Today we're teaching y'all how to do this, because apparently y'all don't know how to do this. Gravy is one of the 7 great comfort foods. You got gravy, you got ranch, you got or comfort sauces, gravy, ranch, cheese sauce, ketchup, of course, being one of the great, you know, the great ones, soy sauce, and barbecue sauce. There we go. So I'm going to turn that down now because it's going way too high. But I can tell it's a little thick, so I can just let it cook down a little bit. And it'll come back, it'll thicken up. You can't start adding flour. You can't be adding flour now to this. You're going to get lumps. It ain't going to taste right. It's going to be bad. You better just let it cook down. You still got a bird to deal with in carbs, so just let this cook down. I'm going to turn these on here. Actually, I'm going to show you something about those too, because nothing worse than some average corn. Anyway, so this is on 1. I pull my water out of there. Just stay tuned for a second there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to grab another pan and do some corn 101 here. Put that on the back burner, so to speak. Just let me clean up my stove here, because I'm a little paranoid about that. Just the OCD in me. Okay. Alright. Get our pan heated up here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to taste that a bit. I know it's going to need salt anyway, but I'm just going to taste my gravy. Definitely needs salt. So another teaspoon and another teaspoon. So those 3 teaspoons of salt altogether, probably for about 3 3/4 cups of liquid. And what, a 1/4 cup of flour. So another taste. We're getting there. Now, I happen to know for this sauce that I'm going to add my lamb sauce to it, because it's almost at the end of its lifespan for in the fridge. And it's going to add a more complex flavor. If I didn't have that though, I would show you what I would use. I would use some of this stuff I found in the grocery store there. Woo! This stuff right here. And there you can see that. That's better than bouillon. I'm not advertising for these people. I'm just telling you, this shit's the shit. At Christmas time, made with roasted turkey. I gotta tell you, it's incredible. I love this stuff. A jar will last you all year. You know how to take care of your stuff, your preservatives and stuff. I think I opened this one probably around New Year's. I've used about 3/4 of it. I'm gonna use another, and I'm telling you, like that much to my stuff over there. That's gonna change it, the whole dynamic, because it's a little light on the flavor. That was only one chicken, not a lot of liquid. And like I said, I gotta make it a little more gravy than usual out of that, because so this is just a good way to boost it. Better than bouillon, all right? I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not paid by them, but I love this stuff. And the next time I need to buy it, when I have to open this one, I'm buying a case of it, because who knows what's gonna happen here. But anyways, just so you know. Once you crack it, leave it in your fridge, in a really cold part, you're going to be alright. Better than bouillon. I'm going to go back in and taste that. My pan's getting hot. Take that off for a second. Taste this gravy again. What a difference. Wow. Okay. So now what I want to show you is a little thing here. Get rid of this corn oil here. With a little bit of olive oil. Pan's a little hot, so we'll just take that off the heat. Put a little olive oil in there, like so. Alright, now, I'm not doing onions this week, because who knows what's in the onions, right? Alright, this pan's a bit hot, so I'm just going to go like that. I'm going to turn that off. Just bear with me, stay there for a second. Yeah, talk about veggies. I mean, people don't know what they're doing with veggies. A lot of times you're just stuck with the same stuff, and people, that's gonna smoke. That's okay. You know, everyone's stuck. You're gonna buy. But I'm gonna tell you right now. When it comes to vegetables, I like those because it's for me. I eat a lot of soup. I just put them in my itchy band in a cup of soup. So peas, just like no-name peas, pretty cheap. Peas are peas. But when it comes to other mixed vegetables like corn and stuff, okay. You got to make sure that you're getting a quality name, or you're going to get burnt. You can go to the pan, you can get Asian mixed stuff. Just make sure you buy some veggies. You got to have veggies all the time around. It's the summertime, you can grow vegetables, so try and do that, guys. You know, my favorite vegetable, just so we're clear, we were fortunate enough, my wife's grandmother came hung out with the kids, and great-grandma and the kids made a massive amount of, that's my favorite vegetable, that's a potato, and they were kind enough to wrap it up in a little bit of a wonton wrapper. It's called a pierogi, and damn if that ain't, that's my favorite vegetable. You eat it with my favorite dairy product, which is sour cream and butter. It's just incredible. Anyways, that's not what we're looking for today. I'm trying to clean up the fridge here. We're going to go shopping here in the next couple of days. So, doing an inventory on my fridge. My pan's still a little warm. Now it's probably the right temperature for what I got in mind. I don't have any shallots. I seem to have ran out inadvertently. We live out in the country, so it's not like I'm just running to the store here. It's a long trip to town, you know. And if you get thirsty, it's a 2-day trip to town. So I try not to go there alone too much, on account of I get mighty thirsty sometimes. So don't mind me, I'm just going to cut up a mushroom here real quick, and carry on. So what we're doing now is we're making some vegetable stuff, some corn and some mushrooms, and some fennel we're going to throw in here. We're going to start the mushroom first, because the mushroom, like a sponge, you need an extra oil in here. Nobody ever tells you guys this when you're cooking. It's a sponge, and it's going to soak up. Oh, you watch in a couple seconds, there's not going to be an oil in there, so you got to make sure your pan's hot. Okay. Nothing worse than a burnt mushroom, so pay attention to that. Anyways, so there's quite a bit of oil in there, and better than the ShamWow. They should just make, you know, dishcloths out of mushrooms. I don't know. Don't steal that idea, but the pan's got no oil in there anymore, right? So I'm going to add a bit more. Alright. There you go. And then the cell structure is going to soak that up, just like an aubergine. Mushrooms and aubergine, or eggplant, you'll know them as an eggplant. Aubergine means eggplant in French. Going to soak that up. So now we're going to start sauteing that. We're going to get our second ingredients here. Which a lot of you won't know. You'll see it in the store and you don't know what the hell it is. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's one of the best things for you, especially right now with the crazy virus from China going around. You're going to get yourself some fennel bulb. That's a fennel bulb. Get some of that. I guarantee everyone in your family ain't going to like it, so cut it big, right? And then that don't like it, they don't have to eat it. But them that do, they're going to enjoy it in there, right? Fennel's like celery. It's from the same plant genus as celery. It's just got a more anise, kind of a licorice flavor. So I'm going to throw that in with the mushrooms. So if I was doing this just for me, I'd add, well, if I was doing this for me and, my wife, it was like a romantic dinner, we'd add some shallot and whatnot, but times being what they are, save the shallot for the really, really, really important meals. It's not Sunday, it's Tuesday, so not that pertinent. Yeah. So we'll chop up the mystery ingredient. It doesn't take a lot of this one, but you need to have some of this in your diet. Cabbage, I tell you, is good for you. I'm going to toss this. Get that moving around in the pan. We're looking for that Maillard on there, that kind of golden brown thing going on there. It's called Maillard. The caramelization of the natural sugars in all food. Maillard, it's a French term. A lot of French in the old cooking. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. I'm just going to reach into my cupboard here and grab a little butter. And I always stress, ladies and gentlemen, don't use no damn margarine. If you're going to grab margarine to cook with, just use more olive oil, okay? Use no freaking, what do you call it? Margarine. Margarine will kill you. Margarine is not good for you. I don't care what anyone says. Take it from me. Right, I got this going pretty hot. Pretty happy with that. Now I have my corn. Okay. I'm going to chill my pan down. I'm looking for a little liquor in here. We're just going to keep it the Chinese cooking wine because that's what we got today. Shaoxing. A little drop, like a tablespoon. Don't take a lot. Not a lot. A little bit of garlic powder. 3-4 pinches. And a little bit of this Hungarian peppers, hot pepper paste. And toss that around. Like that. Those flavors mixing in there. I'm going to add some butter. A little bit of butter. Because butter is good for you. And margarine will kill you. Remember that. We're here to put it. Remember it. Remember it. Yeah. Just a little shake. Call the kids. Kids, dinner! It's almost dinner time. And then we're going to get a cabbage chopped up here and right there. Right as rain. Toss this again. A little bit. We have to encourage our pepper friends here to just amalgamate. Looks like a bit more pepper and salt. So just hit it with a little bit of pepper and salt. Turn the heat down. I'm not trying to kill it. Alright. With the color bomb. Good color bomb. Just like that. Look at that. Get something to toss out with. Something like this here. Just work that around in there. It's nice, it's colorful. You've got all your vitamins for the day in there. Right now, the way things are going, people shouldn't eat more than once a day. Something light in the morning. We'll do that. We have one of these guys. Off the vine tomatoes are the best ones you can get. Make sure you utilize them. Now, in my family, 3 out of 4 like tomatoes. The 5th one we don't know yet. Probably. But, so just leave them a little bigger. Just trying to get the liker things and whatnot out of the tomato into the diet. So here goes the tomato. Okay. Give it a little toss. A little more seasoning, salt and pepper. And we're good to go. Alright. We got a platter. Something probably like this. Here. There we go. Alright. We got a nice bed for our chicken. For that. Now, something you can learn today from the old master here is I cooked my potatoes way before my dinner was ready. What do? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to show you right now what you do. What you do is, when you run into this once in a while when you're dealing with like an apprentice, they get really excited and stuff. The worst is at the breakfast, you'll notice it a lot. At breakfast time you'll have your eggs all done, but the bacon's still cooking. The toast is burnt, and the butter's frozen. If you got butter, probably margarine at your house. Don't eat margarine, like I said. That's right, no margarine. See, even she knows, and she's brand new. Anyway, so we'll just clean up our debris here so it's nice for the people. You know who you are, bastards. Alright, I'd just like to point out that 300 years ago, because there was no kitchen safety, that's why they had a royal taster. It wasn't that people were poisoning motherfuckers all the time, although it did happen. It was that food safety was rather lax, to say the least. And then when you started mixing different cultures in with it, you know, it becomes a quagmire of disease and pestilence at that point, and you never know if, in my own personal opinion, because of the 13th century and a lot of trades and stuff happening, if the plague might not have been caused by, at least a small part, certainly fed on, spurned by being an impetus of food poisoning. Was the impetus of the plague. I honestly believe that in ancient scriptures and whatnot, two of the big three there, they don't eat pork because they used to kill people. Trichinosis or salmonella, you know, kill you real quick. So they didn't eat pork, anything with that kind of hoof. They try to say that it's because they're like humans, because they don't want you to know whatever they don't want you to know. I don't know what they don't want you to know, but you don't know it because you didn't want you to know it. I know it. That's why you came here, I'm telling you. So let's check out my chicken, let it breathe. Now I'm going to drop these potatoes in here. Sometimes we get excited, people. Now these are stone cold, alright? And I'm about to share the biggest secret with you, and in fact that's going to be the secret on the thing. Fastest way to cook anything on the planet. Discovered. Because you were dumb enough to click on it and it said discovered. You know, I'll tell you now, it was discovered a long time ago. Steam. I'm going to turn that down and let it do its thing. This one here, just going to turn it up a bit. Close that for aesthetics, then I'm more comfortable. Alright. I'm going to bring this guy back up to a boil now because I want to incorporate this lamb broth here. So when you're doing this, mixing sauces, they always teach us mix a warm with a cold, So that's what we're doing here. We're going to mix cold one room temperature with a warm one. And it's going to create a wonderful flavor. So, put that stuff in here. Whirl it around. It must be good. The cats are starting to think about janking me. Must be a good. Must be good. Right. Now, take care of some housekeeping. This sucker up to a boil. So you got a gravy. You do it yourself, hopefully. You followed along. And now you know how to do it yourself the proper way. I don't care what they show you anywhere else. They're not showing you the right way to do shit, trust me. So if you want to know how to cook some comfort food, if you're feeling a little low, which is a big part of healing, I guess. Leave a comment down below what kind of sauce you want to make. I'm a saucier myself. Pretty well. Really fucking good one.
The perfect marriage of the lamb and the poultry has created a divine and yet unique taste experience on the palate. Anyways, so let that come to temperature. Go back to our spuds here. Steam aged, and they're going to be hot to the touch. Steam is the hottest way to cook anything. It's the absolute fastest way to get anything cooked around here. So, yourself a clean strainer. And I'm just going to go over to the sink. I'm going to strain these sons of guns. Because we had to reconstitute these or reheat them up, let's turn that down now. Go. What's the gravy in August? It's not bad. Gravy in July is a faux pas for me. But we'll be alright in August. Now, 2 trains of thought here. Add your milk first, not your butter first. I'm going to add my butter first because I do want it to be kind of caramelized a bit. I want to brown the butter a bit because brown butter is better. Brown butter is better. Brown butter is better. Brown butter is better, 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 better. So you're going to need quite a bit of butter for potatoes. Everybody knows that. At least a quarter cup for a potato, each potato. But you are going to need quite a bit. A couple of them on the bottom are going to get a little golden brown and delicious. That's okay. Overall, it's just going to add to the complexity of the flavors of the potatoes. I turned the heat down to 6. I'm going to steam that butter onto them a little bit. It's going to brown. It's going to mix in. I just want to keep an eye on my gravy. I'm trying to reduce it down to a certain viscosity that I know everybody likes in my family. And we're almost there. So we'll learn an important word today. And this word's called nappe. And nappe is French for nappe. And what it means is when I do this, see, I've draped the spoon with the sauce. I've drug a line through and I've allowed gravity to kind of flow it, like nappe it. And I can see how thick it is, and it's good enough. I don't know, after a couple of weeks of experience cooking there and lots of weekends in the dish pit, that's some good sauce there. I can turn it off. If my daughters my daughters don't like rosemary much, and I don't like her much either. She's kind of a bitch, but it tastes good on chicken. I would add it, but they don't like it, so we'll omit that. So there you go. That's browning up probably pretty good for me. Season it up. A little bit of pepper and salt here. And that's Himalayan pink salt today, and some black pepper from Black Pepperville, world. I don't know where it's from, but it's black pepper. Anyway, so now the magic kind of happens a little different. I'm going to warm up your milk a little bit in there. Okay. I don't know how much milk you like. I don't like a lot. I like more butter in my stuff than the other. More butter than the other. So, grab the old stand mixer attachment, save yourself some time. Now, if you don't have a stand mixer and you're trying to impress somebody, like your in-laws or something stupid like that, why do you want to do that? It's beyond me, but people do it. You use a ricer. That's a ricer, a food ricer, and it rices the shit out of potatoes. I'll show you here. Well, I don't have time for that. I'm busy. Anyways, put your taters in there. And, let's see here. Put a tater in there. It's like Mr. Potato Head for adults, man. It's great. Good times. You know. And then you squeeze it. Out comes the spuds. Right? Beautiful tool. I don't have time for that shit today. So we're going to use the KitchenAid stand mixer. Brought to you by KitchenAid, who I'm not sponsored by, but who I love. KitchenAid rocks. Yeah, KitchenAid. One complaint about KitchenAid, and it's I know why. You can't have the best of both worlds. I just want a glass damn mixing bowl for my stand mixer, but I got the mixer that lifts up. Obviously, you can't put a glass one on there. So my camera person's going to push pause. I'll be back in a second with the final presentation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, here's our gravy. It looks delicious. It tastes even better. And you watched me make it. Now you know how. Okay, it wasn't magic. There was no cornstarch in there. Just a great gravy. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in a second here with the final product. Okie dokie, so now you don't want to mash your potatoes like I just told my wife. You don't mash the shit out of your spuds. It's better to have more lumps than not. You're doing like you can't be mixing your machine. If you're gonna use a machine, you can't be mashing your potatoes for more than like a minute, man, or you're gonna get this really gloopy shit. Okay, and it ain't gonna be potatoes. It'll be like this gloopy shit, and you're not gonna want that. Okay, so to avoid that, milk hot, at least warm. A good amount of butter. It's more butter than milk in good mashed potatoes, just so we're clear. Okay, not margarine. Like I'm gonna tell you all the time, if you have to add margarine or something, stop buying fucking margarine and buy some olive oil. It's the same damn price and it's better for you. And if you need it on your toast, just find a dish and put some olive oil in the fridge and it'll solidify enough you can make some what do you call it, of that? Toast stopper out of that. A little light on the salt, but that's okay. I know these people. They're gonna complain regardless. That's family, right? I'm just gonna brown out my chicken, warm it up a second, and I'll see you back in a couple seconds. Push record. It's got a little bit of juice left in here from just finishing off the bird. I'm going to dump it in the pot. And that, my friends, I'm just going to conclude this one. Look at this gravy a little more jus. I'm going to get it in an appropriate receptacle to distribute it accordingly amongst my family. And around here that means a measuring cup. Some of us really like gravy. Really. I'm not just saying that. There's been times where the gravy disappears. So, do yourself a good container. Pyrex, obviously, because it's hot. If you don't have Pyrex, so let's just talk about that real quick, I guess. Really some good full of information. If you don't have Pyrex, what you want to do is do yourself a good spoon, a good thick spoon, into a glass container or whatever, just to prevent any accidents, or hopefully prevent them. The spoon's going to absorb a lot of the heat energy instead of the glass container that you put it in, and just help prevent it from breaking. If you got the nice china out, just always remember that. You got the china out or something, and it's like 100 years old coming on for a lot of you. If you're Gen X and you still got great grandma's china, good for you. Hang on to that shit. But make sure it lasts. Put something metal in there. You don't have to use that. There's other stuff you can use. Just let me get rid of this here, just so we're all clear. This probably work this fine, or this. Any of this stuff's going to work fine. Okay, metal is going to absorb the heat like a heat sink. Understand? You nerdy types out there. Okay. You don't have to go out and buy yourself a really nice spoon just for a heat sink, but when you're serving gravy, sure make your mother-in-law happy. And that's it. That's all there is to know. There's your dinner. Have a nice day. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go and thank this chicken for sacrificing itself to us, and we're going to thank the cow because we put some butter in there today. And then we're going to eat this sucker and remember our loved ones. Have a nice day. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.